I think that's what you guys are having too. But my name is Devin Akosone. Amy said, we're from Prayers and Wings. Just before we go on, this is Charlene over here and Kristen over here. So we're all from Prayers and Wings. I founded this nonprofit. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Our mission statement is building bridges of communication and inspiring others through crisis. And probably wondering what the ducks is all about. I'll explain that a little bit later. I'll explain that actually right now. So how Prayers and Wings got started, very simple. Back in 1984, at the age of 11, I was diagnosed as 98% leukemia. So Kapi'olani Hospital became my home, which serves our mission today. And from there, I went through 4.5 years of chemo. In this 4.5 years of chemo, I had a communication breakdown with my parents. They never knew that I was suicidal. They never knew that I wish I was never born. They never thought that I thought that it was my fault that we went into financial debt. My parents were we were a very well-off family financially, and we went into debt within 6 months to a year, and I thought that was all my fault. I was happy to be alive. But I was scared that I was going to die the next day. And all of this was all confusing. My best friend became a rubber duck. I didn't know how to talk to my parents. I didn't even know at that time what I was going through. And my parents weren't taught to ask the right questions. They just wanted to make sure that I was alive and breathing. They didn't know that I was dying inside. So from there, believe it or not, my last month of chemo, because of all of these ticking time bombs in my head, I became an ice addict in my last month of chemo. So I was addicted to crystal meth for the next 10 years after that. In 1999, April 3rd was my last time that I did crystal meth. So for 10 years, out of the 10 years, 6 months I loved it. It took me 9.5 years to quit. So you imagine what my parents went through, right? So not only did their son fight and survive cancer, but he became an ice addict. And from there, I wasn't at home a lot. I was homeless. I was living in cars. I was living in KPT. I was traveling from there to Waipahu. I was rolling with the best of dealers. I knew all the wrong people for all the right reasons at that time. And blessed, I came out of that again. So at the age of 38, I decided it was time to give back. I was tired of asking myself, why me, why me, why me? Instead of asking why me, I decided to ask, what's my why? And then that's when my life changed. So from there, I decided to start a nonprofit. And my dream was to come back to Kapi'olani and to give back to all the wonderful people that has served here, especially people like Dr. Robert Wilkinson. You know him as Dr. Bob. He's like my hero. And I got to just see him the other day when we worked with the Hawaii Children's Cancer Foundation. We did a Christmas party, provided some entertainment, and got to reconnect with Dr. Bob. And those things fill my soul. So nights like tonight actually warm my heart to keep me going to the next day. And in Prayers and Wings, it was originally designed to work with children with cancer. In the transition of going through everything, I realized that crisis is crisis. That doesn't matter if it's cancer, bullying, what all of you are going through yourselves. Crisis is crisis, and communication is important. So while doing Prayers and Wings, I realized that we're going to open it up to everyone and anyone. So through that, we were blessed to work with organizations such as March of Dimes. Others have been Make-A-Wish. Others have been Hugs. We work with anyone and everyone. Anyone that calls us, we don't expect anything. It's just a blessing that we get a smile and a thank you. We don't even expect that, because we know that it's hard to go through what you go through. And with every new breath, that's all we want, is just positive movement. So we're here. Whether you believe in God or not, I do have mine. I never come to an event and preach it, but I do ask my God to bless all of you here and what you're going through. And with that, we're here to paint ducks today. Why rubber ducks is, like I said, my rubber duck was my best friend. We did it. Amy called us up and said, I still got these ducks. Do you have extras? Just so happened that I did. And we were supposed to close down the rubber ducky workshops because Pearls on Wings has released a children's book. We were having a hard time making the connection of painting rubber duck. And what the whole concept of that was, we would have children and their families paint a rubber duck and exchange it. And in that exchange was a promise that they would have open communications for the rest of their lives. But it wasn't working because the ducks were so distracting that nobody heard Uncle Devin speak. So I said, we gotta find a new way. So I said, what better way than a children's book? So we wrote a children's book. We're nationally published from Tate Publishing. Our children's book is very easy to read. It's for kindergarten and second grade, but it has a lifelong message, which is communication is important. It's designed to be read from parents or guardians to younger children, to where the entire family understands the importance of communication, because of course it works both ways. And we released it as a hardcover. There's a soft cover and also a coloring book. There's also a 3D book where you got the glasses. And then it's called Lucky Ducky. And we actually hope to work with March Dimes, NICU, with these coloring books because we didn't want to lose the arts and craft project. So we want to work with Amy and March Dimes and maybe come back with coloring books throughout the year, so where the entire family can color the book. And just as the rubber ducks would be baby's first rubber ducky, the book would be baby's first baby book. So that's kind of like what we wanted to do. And then we'll be in contact with you and figure out how to work this. So it's basically a 20-page book, 10 pages of easy to read, story, and 10 pages of illustrations. And do we have a copy of it?
Mm-hmm. The green bag.
So this is Lucky Ducky. So again, it's from Tate Publishing, and we'll figure out how to work this in. But it's, like I said, it's a easy to follow story. From here, Pearls on Wings we've been opening up to readings. So our first reading was to Aliamanu Elementary, where I took off from work for 3 days and read to 350 plus students in 3 days. That was kind of crazy, but it was fun. And they asked what we wanted back, and my payment I asked back was to have a school lunch, because my dream was, since I started Pearls on Wings, I had the blessing of having a time machine in life, like a real time machine. I actually got to go back to elementary, eat a school lunch, because I was ripped out of 6th grade. I was put into a hospital. And I didn't have any friends. My friends, I was locked in a room. My friends weren't allowed to come or didn't want to come. They thought either they would catch it or they would hurt me. So I didn't have a lot of friends anymore. I was very popular in 6th grade in a good way, and then I became very popular again in a bad way. And I was very lonely. And so my dream was to go back to school and have a school lunch and enjoy all the conversations that kids have. Remember those conversations? You have them every day, right? That's what I wanted to hear. That's why I enjoyed talking to you for like the past 10 minutes. And then she drew on my box. I don't know how this happened. I didn't even know this was going on, but she did it, and I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep this for probably forever. Is that cool? Okay, you see me in 10 years, I still have the same box. And then you're gonna be embarrassed, and that's when I post it on Facebook. Is that cool? No? So, just to let you know a little bit of my background, I do have a day job. So this is our passion. So this is what we do in our spare time, which is kind of a lot. It can be very time consuming and very demanding. I do have a day job. I work for the state, for Hawaii Public Housing. I work in the maintenance department. I'm a singer on the weekends. I'm in a band. So if I'm not rehearsing, I am, in fact, she comes to the gigs sometimes too. So she sees us perform all the time. So I do have a 40-hour job. I have rehearsals. I run a fitness group. We do fitness trainings and all of that with our trainer. And life is actually pretty hectic. So for me to be here tonight, just so that our schedules actually open up, it is a blessing, and blessings always happen. It's always at the right time, right place, right people. Again, you know, I give you guys prayer, pray all for the best. I don't like to see a full room, but it is reality. You know, we wish that there wasn't need for any organization because the world would be more perfect. But it's good that we do have these organizations, because when I was 11, there wasn't much out there for me. There was no one to lean on. There was no support. There was no one to tell my parents how their son may be feeling, which made life very difficult. And for organizations, for great people like Catherine and Amy to be here and work when they're supposed to be at home and maybe doing their family thing. They call you guys their family, and actually they call you guys their family, but want you the heck out of here as fast as possible because then things are good. You know, and that's a great thing. It's a great thing to be. So finish your dinner, guys, and then we'll start the activity. If there's anything you guys want to ask me in between that time, make sure you have a cookie to give me, and I will be happy to answer it. But if not, just the door is open. Okay, so you can talk story all night if you want. If not, we just chill and kick back. Cool.